Hello, hello. Hey, Cherry. Welcome everyone. I totally, I totally got distracted for a second, so I'm thrown off a little bit. Hey, Samantha. Welcome. I hope everyone is doing well. We're going to have fun. It's Friday here as of this recording. Friday, so the day of Venus. We're going to enjoy. We're going to have fun. A few things before we get into our cards. Well, hello, Jade. Welcome. A few things before we get into our cards. Um, First of all, how's everyone doing? I hope you're well. Second of all, my brain is frazzled. But what was I going to tell you? Well, hello, Marguerite. Good to see you. Oh yeah, this this weekend I'm helping my friend Elisa of Elisa Soul Kisses in her crystal sale. I might post a few things there as well. But throughout the event, I will help her. If you have any questions about crystals, crystal magic, and all that, or anything that she posts, how to utilize those crystals magically, you're more than welcome to tag me in those posts. So I linked the group that she's having her sale in. It's in the description, so you can check that out. I've also, for those who ordered the crocheted poppets, dolls, um, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm so excited for you to receive them. I've shipped most of them out, so you will have tracking information being sent to you. And I'm excited. I'm really excited, and I want everyone to know again, you'll see more like crocheted things being shared, but the poppets, like the dolls that I share, they're not toys. Okay, I just want to reiterate that they are not toys. They're actually magical. I hate calling them tools because I feel like they're allies, they're magical allies, they're tools to be worked with, so they're to be respected. There's a process that they go through to be magically activated and such. So they're not toys, they're not just to have around. They're to be worked with, and they're to be your ally. So that's something to consider before purchasing as well. But yeah, I'm having a good day. I'm having a great day, and we're going to talk about two cards from the Halloween Oracle. I actually think it kind of continues a conversation that we've had recently, which I really like. And so the skull of darkness, the skull of darkness is our first card to talk about. And so when you think of blind spots, what do you think of? How does it make you feel? When I think of blind spots, I think of driving. And sometimes, like, depending on the car you have, there's like a thick on the side of it, on the side of the car, you can't really see. Like, there's a really thick blind spot. Sometimes not so much, but you have that blind spot you can't see. And sometimes it can be scary, right? So let's see what the Skull of Darkness has to say. We may not wish to delve there, the shadows, the darkness, the unknown. Yet when we search, we reveal, and our power, it has grown. The beautiful and mysterious skull of darkness encourages us to look to the part of ourselves that normally remains hidden or as unseen as possible. We may not appreciate or like certain aspects of ourselves, and yet sometimes our greatest treasures lie within these areas. How many times have you heard of famous artists or people extremely successful in their fields being bullied for being so different? Yet it is their very differences from others that make them so powerful. Additionally, all of us at some stage of life have certain blind spots that may cause us grief and trouble. Although we cannot see the issue clearly, it is the repeated patterns of pain that may alert us to them, symptoms, if you will. For example, the same things keep happening over and over again. We may be betrayed repeatedly, fail at something repeatedly, not complete tasks continually. Peace and pattern breaking can be achieved by doing the work and uncovering our blind spot, or even consulting trusted close friends or professionals to assist us to see what we cannot. So, what does that say to you? How does that make you feel? I like it. I like it because it just, the blind spots. It's like, okay, there are things that, and That is why we titled this, Forgive That Which You Hide from the Light. And, light is information, light is awareness, light is, being able to see something and be aware of something and know something, right? And so when we hide things from awareness, when we try to like keep things away from things, we're denying aspects of who we are. And so with the skull of darkness, with blind spots, I really do feel like it's this recognition that there is nothing wrong with us. There is nothing wrong with who we are. And just because other people or situations, whatever, may place judgments on us, that has nothing to do with us. That has nothing to do with who we are. What other people say, how other people feel about us, what other people want to feel about us, that's not our business, right? And so that's on them. And so we need to learn more and more to go within and to trust our instincts and to be very understanding of who we are and what we are working with, to uncover the truth of the nature of our soul and to be in alignment with that and love that energy, that aspect about us, right? Does that make sense? So with blind spots, there could be things that we're not quite seeing that we think maybe, oh, we're not good at something, oh, I'm not really that great. And this happens a lot with people. Hello, Diane, welcome. This happens a lot with artists and people of any nature, any type, I can't talk, any type of art or creative outlet. It's like, I'm not that great at this. And it's like, okay, no, when I say I'm not that great, I draw like a stick figure. You're drawing like this intense piece of beauty, like you have like shading and it looks so nice. Like, no, you're great at this. Like me, I'm drawing a stick figure over here, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not that great. Okay, you have art. Does that make sense? And so with those blind spots, it's like, okay, now it's time to be honest with ourselves. What are we good at? What are you good at? Like, what do you like to say? Or you'd say that you're not good at something or you're not that great at something, but in reality, you know that you're good at something. You know that you're capable. Well, hello, Brianna. Welcome. Good to see you. But I feel like this is coming up for us so we can, like, it's time for us to step into our excitement. It's time for us to step into what we find enjoyable. And so we do not need to like dumb down ourselves or dim down our light. We don't need to become, something lesser than for other people, other situations to be comfortable with us. So if that's the case, well, let's just say fuck them. Seriously, they don't deserve our truth. And if they can't handle it, that's on them. That's not on me. That's not on you. That's on them. And so it's more and more about understanding our blind spots, and the reality is that we know what's there. We're just trying to keep ourselves from admitting what's there. And so now it's time to step into that information, step into that light. Now it's time to take ownership of what it is that I am good at. So what are you good at? What are you good at? What do you love? What do you enjoy? What are you getting better at? And I'll be honest, I'm good at tarot. I love tarot. I do. I love the cards. I'm great at it. And I'm not bragging. It's just the truth. I've spent, since I was 10 learning about the cards and practicing with them and using them. And now I'm 100. So that's been a long time. But at the same time, it's like, I'm also always learning. I'm learning so much more about the tarot lately, so much more, and I'm perfecting my skills. But I know that I'm good at it. So I used to be like, oh, I'm okay, I'm okay. But no, I am good. I love it. And so I think that we need to be able to be comfortable. Well, hello, Wild Child Tarot. Welcome. So I think that we need to be comfortable with being able to stand in our own and to be able to express, like, yes, I am good at something and I am okay with expressing that. Right? I don't have those blind spots. I don't need to allow them to be, holding me back. I can be aware of those blind spots. I can be aware of that. Yeah, I kind of talk. I lessen the intensity of my capabilities. Right. I don't need to do that anymore. I know that my instinct or society or whatever kind of trains us to Oh, welcome. Well, good. I'm glad you found me. Yeah, I use bergamot in quite a few of my videos, the recipes. So, welcome. We're gonna have fun. Yeah, the blind spots. Let's move into our second card. Our second card, which is funny. Why is it funny? Because it's forgiveness. Forgiveness, reducing burden. So what does that say to you? How does that make you feel? Forgiveness. Again, we have blind spots, and then forgiveness, reducing burden. What does that say? And let's express it. A wrong is done, consequences you cannot deny, but to hold a grudge is to drink poison and think that the other person will die. Huh. So, being a cold season festival, Halloween, again, we're working with the Halloween Oracle. So, being a cold season festival, Halloween is the perfect time to pause and think about how things actually are in our lives and what heavy burdens we do not wish to carry through these harder, leaner times. Some of this heavy heartedness may relate to old relationships or grievances. Some may relate to negative feelings we hold on to tightly about others and even a lack of compassion for the mistakes we have ourselves made. It is said that it takes a big person to apologize, but in many ways, it takes an even bigger person to forgive. When we hold grudges, the negative energy is incredibly toxic. It is like drinking a poison and expecting the other unforgiven person to die, whilst we may even harbor feelings of revenge. And to be honest, that does feel good for a while. It does, yeah, absolutely. It is important that we move those feelings along to forgiveness and release as soon as possible. Emphasis as soon as possible. So in your own timing, okay? In your own timing. For our own health and well-being. If you have chosen this card, which we did, think about who it is that you could be forgiving, and that includes yourself. Absolutely. Absolutely. Blind spots are a major concern. Ooh, I love to journal for those blind spots. I like that. Is that really your last name, Tulin? I love it. I like it. That's cute. Forgive ourselves for past mistakes, let go of emotional baggage. I like that too. So, with reducing burdens, especially here, as we get closer to Samhain, um, we are getting into the colder months, and so we're going within, we're preparing. And if we're going to be cold, y'all, we don't want to be weighted down by all of the bullshit of life and other people and other things, right? We don't want to be weighted down because we gotta walk through the snow, and we want to get to our destination as fast as we can, so we don't need all these heavy burdens upon us. So lighten the load. And how do we do that? We reduce our burdens by what? By working through them and understanding. Ooh, yes, forgiveness is so hard. My issue is to leave an issue alone even after saying I have forgiven. Yes, yes. And I think with forgiveness, we think that a lot of times the whole thing with forgiveness, we think that if we say we forgive, that means we are condoning behavior. And that's not the case. Like, just because I can forgive something, it doesn't mean that I'm telling you or a situation that that was right and that was okay. I think that we get that like mixed up in our heads. I know that I do, still, but it's not the case. When we learn to forgive, we're releasing our hold, or the hold that we allow for things to be, oh my gosh, I cannot communicate. Let me slow down. But when we forgive, we sort of disengage with that energy, and we no longer activate it. And so it's like, you know what? I understand. Understand. Oh my goodness, y'all. I'm having a moment with my communication. There's just so much that I want to say, and I'm excited. And now it's like, whoa, tongue tied. Yes, yes. Forgiveness isn't for the other person, but for ourselves. Yeah, because it's about our life. It is about our choice and our energy. And so when we do forgive, It's about us. And we get to say, look, I am no longer participating in this energy. I am no longer participating in this experience. I am freeing myself from what has happened. And so I forgive so I can move on. So I get to take my power back. So I get to reclaim this. And so, yeah, maybe I was blind to something, blind spots, right? Maybe I didn't see something coming and I should have. I didn't notice those, what people like to say, red flags, right? Maybe I didn't notice this. Maybe I thought this relationship that I was getting into was going to be really good and it turns out abusive. It was, maybe it was that. And I can forgive myself for that. Why? Because I need to, and because I want to be happy. And if I'm not forgiving in that situation, if I don't release, then I'm not going to be happy because I'm going to continuously be living in that time frame as well as that situation, right? And so forgiveness helps us to reduce burden. And and I really feel it needs to be applied to the mirror, applied to ourselves. And so it takes time. And don't think it has to be done right away. It takes time to learn to forgive. And that's okay. You don't have to immediately forgive a situation. A lot of times for some things it can take, years, decades, and it takes sometimes therapy and working through situations, understanding, okay, I had some blind spots. Yes, I recognize that. I'm working through that, and it takes time to get there in steps and stages, and eventually we can get there. Right? Does that make sense? Just because we forgive uh, doesn't mean we forgot what was done. Exactly. It really just means that we are no longer activating that energy, because if we don't, at times I feel like if we're not if we don't forgive, then we're constantly living in that energy, right? Whether we are aware of it or not, it can be running in the background as a program that is hiding. But when we forgive, we stop that program. We're like, okay, I understand, I forgive for me, and I end this task, or I end this program, and it's no longer running at all. Does that make sense? And so that's kind of what I view forgiveness as. Like, we end those tasks, we end those programs, and so it's no longer running. So it's not, slowing our system down. It's not, it's not. Oh my goodness, there's so much I want to say. Shit. Uh, it's not manifesting, anymore, because we've forgiven, we've ended it, it's done. Sugar. I do not want to forget the wisdom I learned from my suffering, but I also want, exactly. Ooh, I love that. That gives me the chills. I like that. Yes, and that's the thing. And this is not to minimize anyone's experience. This is for each and every one of us to decide where we're at and what we want to do with it. And I think that through those blind spots, through those hardships, those challenges, those friction oriented moments that don't always feel good, rarely do they feel good, right? But through those experiences we learn a lot. And so it's like, okay, I've learned a lot and I am grateful. It sucks that I had to experience such heartache, or it sucks that I had to experience such trauma, or whatever it is. But for me personally, it's like, okay, I can learn from it, and because of it, I am able to have conversations with people that I wouldn't be able to have conversations with. I am able to show up for people in a way that, had I not been through what I've been through, I wouldn't be able to show up for. And so I can turn that into something that is helpful. I can take those blind spot moments in my life, in our lives, right? We can take those and we can be of service. We can help when we get to that place, when we are ready. Okay. And if we want to, we don't always have to, you know? Um, Yes, forgiveness was my first step to a happier life. Yes, exactly. So let's talk about it. The two cards, right? Skull of darkness, blind spots, coupled with forgiveness, reducing burdens. And so, what does that make you feel? What comes up for you? And I think that's a good. I think it's a good place to sort of contemplate this weekend on our blind spots. And can we forgive ourselves for participating in events and situations that we didn't know better at that time, right? And I think that's with a blind spot as well. It's like I was working with what I had. I didn't know, and it makes me think, example, back in the day, when I was first starting out here, with Deviant Witchery. Again, if you knew me then, you knew I was very I kind of was very explosive. I was very defensive. I was hurt. I was still passionate, loved what I did, but still kind of, angry. And so there were things that I didn't see coming. There were things that I didn't recognize, that I should have, but I didn't. And so, responded maybe not so nice to people, was mean to people who I felt were mean to me. It was just, very childish, right? And so I can look back at that and see those blind spots, but I also can have forgiveness for that. And I've talked about that a lot lately because it's on my mind. I look at that person and I'm like, okay, I understand that I had, whatever I was working with, my emotional state, my spiritual state, my physical state, mental health state, all of it, whatever at that time. That's what I was working with. That's who I was. That's no longer who I currently am, right? And I think that we need to be a little more forgiving of ourselves. It's like, okay, I can look back and I can see those blind spots. Cool. And I'm not going to judge myself for them. I'm not going to, because there's no point. We're moving forward. Does that make sense? And so we're moving forward. We're doing better for ourselves. And so when we look back at our life, we can look at those blind spots that we didn't see coming. Now that we have more information, now that we're growing, now that we're in a different space, we have more to work with. And instead of judging ourselves or other people, we can learn to reduce our burdens by forgiving. Okay. And I think that's the key thing here is forgiving our blind spots. I should have known better, but I did it anyways. Well, guess what? We learned. We had an experience, we learned, and now I need to forgive myself, my participation in something or whatever. Forgiveness will help us to reduce those intensities of those burdens and lighten our load so we can actually step into something that feels so much better. We can work on being happier, and just enjoying our time. Okay. So any last minute thoughts, feel free to express. I thank you so much for showing up today. Friday is so fun. I am actually preparing, I think, what's for about an hour. I'll be recording my Halloween magic workshop. I'll have, I think, what is it, 15 like formulas or spells, magical applications, 15 I believe in total, that I'll be sharing with those of you who attend the workshop. It's going to be a lot of fun, so if you're interested, just reach out, message me on Facebook, and I will get you signed up. So with that being said, I think that's it. I'll see everyone on Monday. We do two videos, Monday through Friday, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. So I'll be back on Monday. I can't believe it's the weekend already. Well, thank you, Paul. I appreciate it. Thank you. I ramble so much, but I enjoy doing them. I enjoy doing them. So thank you for showing up. It means a lot. So I have fun doing them. And if you have any like special requests for future videos, always feel free to reach out to me. I have like a WhatsApp you can like message me on, but I have no idea how to work it. So maybe when I figure that out, I'll let you all know. But you can message me on Facebook if you have anything you'd like to talk about as well. I will talk to you Monday, or in the sale group that Elisa's having her event in. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend, y'all. Have fun.